Today we're going around Old San Juan asking people if they believe Puerto Rico should remain a U.S. territory or become independent or a state. Stick around till the end and we'll tally up the results.
I'm really proud of what we have, and I would really like to be independent, but I do know there's a lot of complications that come with that, especially economically, but I do wish that one day we would become independent.
I believe in independence.
Why so?
I think that people have the capacity here in Puerto Rico to survive back there young, but they don't trust in them. Mm-hmm. They need to trust in themselves. But I would love independence.
Statehood, all the way. When we are together, we can do everything. We're possible. We're small, but big, strong together. If the island we're together, we can do everything.
I do believe in Puerto Rican independence. The U.S. has fucked Puerto Rico over so much, and it's not fair. The people with money are coming here and doing tax evasion, just a bunch of bullshit. And every day, native Puerto Ricans, Boricuas, get screwed over and over again. But I think anyone with some common sense can understand that shit, right?
My heart is now leaning towards independence, where it wasn't before. I don't know how you can guarantee statehood and still guarantee the Puerto Rican identity in there. If there's a solution for that, I'm all for that, but I don't know it.
I honestly don't know how to answer that, honestly.
I am for independence. Puerto Rico should have been a free country since 1898.
Independence.
Why do you believe so?
I think there's an opportunity for the island to become a country and preserve the culture, if whatever's left from all the Tainos that were murdered.
I actually think they'd benefit from becoming a state, just because from their natural disasters from the hurricane, I don't think that on their own they can get back on their own 2 feet, that they would need the help of the U.S. government.
Probably the independence.
I think the history of Latin America and the history of, specifically, with conquering and colonialism and the United States being such a young country and all the blood and all the hands and sus manos en la masa and all of Latin America, destabilizing countries, just destabilizing governments. And I just think that Latin America should have the opportunity to be free of imperialism and be able to survive off their own resources.
I support that Puerto Rico needs to stay the same. I would love to be Puerto Rico become independence, but it's not the case.
Can I curse?
Whatever you want.
Bitch, independence, the fuck?
We need to be free. We're done, literally, getting mistreated by other people. Like, we are seriously hard workers, and we just want this to be a good future for a beautiful island.
I would like to be just independent, or just they make a lot of money from us, and we can save that money and stay that money here in Puerto Rico, and it will help a lot for infrastructure, education, and health systems. So these are a lot of things that we could hear and we could fix here.
I think Puerto Rico should be independent state.
I think we're good the way we are. I don't think the United States wants us to be another state.
I support the independence.
I support independence because I think that we can be a free country and we have a lot of resources that we can take advantage of.
We should remain a U.S. territory.
Why do you believe so?
Because to be an independent, you need to have resources that you can rely on, like natural resources and among other things. And right now we don't have that workforce.
Welcome back, everybody. Here are the final results. Don't forget to leave a comment on what you believe is best for Puerto Rico. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you back on the island. Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens for over 100 years. We have U.S. passports and can live in any state. But while we live on the island, we don't enjoy the full rights granted by the U.S. Constitution. So do Puerto Ricans embrace American identity? Today we're back in Old San Juan asking locals to find out. Now let's go. Now, do you consider yourself an American or a U.S. citizen?
Well, I do identify, I guess, as a U.S. citizen, but I don't exactly feel like a regular citizen of the United States, pretty much. That's just my opinion, because I mean, it feels like there's some differences.
Why so?
Well, I mean, even though we have citizenship and stuff like that, it's not the same. We have like different taxes. We have different representation in government, stuff like that. I mean, first of all, one of the things that we do normally is like no representation overall towards decisions that affect us, and that's probably one of the bigger things, especially when like the whole states were founded on like representation and taxation. Like we got a lot of taxation but no representation.
I'm a U.S. citizen because we're a freaking colony of the United States, so that's why I consider myself a citizen.
Are you proud to be an American?
A Puerto Rican. I'm proud to be Puerto Rican.
I do not consider myself an American because I'm Puerto Rican. I was born and raised here in my homeland. I speak Spanish and I have my own identity when it comes to culture. I don't want to be I guess generified as a U.S. citizen. So that's why.
It goes both ends, you know. I'm proud of being Puerto Rican, but at the same time, I'm like half proud of being American, of all the benefits I have. We're born with a privilege that none other Latin American have, so yeah.
How do you reconcile with both identities?
It's kind of interesting question, one I always get asked about, because I with this identity is like, yes, I'm American, but not really. First, I don't have the same rights as a usual American citizen, and second, the culture in itself, I don't feel very sometimes identified with, because our culture is so strong and so unique that feeling American, the usual American, I guess, is not, I don't know, very clear. I feel 100% Puerto Rican.
Adriana, do you consider yourself an American?
No, I do not. I mean, I do have an American citizenship, but I am a full-on Puerto Rican, and that's what I serve every day, all day, so.
Why do you feel that way?
Because of the culture that I practice, and I feel like, I mean, even living in the U.S. for a little bit, I saw the difference, like I could distinguish myself from actual American people and their culture, and like, honestly, I mean, from my perspective, Puerto Rico is just more lively, there's just more community, so I feel like that makes me more Puerto Rican in a way.
Well, do you consider yourself an American/U.S. citizen?
Well, definitely, since I was raised over there for half my life. So yeah, I would consider myself.
Are you proud of being a U.S. citizen?
I mean, I get perks, so yes, but at the same time, could be better.
Do you consider yourself an American?
Sí, yo creo que por obligación, like for obligation, because we're a colony. So it's como que that thing that, you know, they took our I don't know, our freedom. So that I think the least they could give us, if it's worth anything, is like the citizenship.
So are you proud of being Puerto Rican?
Yes. Sí, bien cabrón. Sí, bien cabrón, puñeta, mamabicho. Puertorriqueño, sí. The thing is, como que I don't have a problem with, you know, with being American. I think los puertorriqueños, we have so much culture and so much thing happening that being a colony is like the least favorite part of it.
Welcome back, everybody. If you're Puerto Rican, leave a comment sharing whether or not you embrace American identity. Check out our last video down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and we'll see you back on the island.
Yeah. Yes, I will marry un gringo, yeah, of course.
Why?
Huh? I like them sometimes. They're very different. Maybe.
It was very important for me to marry within my culture. Yeah. I've dated outside of my culture, and the value system is not the same. It's just, it's something that was very important to me to hold tradition, especially being a Puerto Rican living outside of Puerto Rico. I wanted to make sure that that culture was instilled in my children and my family. The Spanish language for sure. Salsa, merengue, the style of dancing, the food. My husband cooks, I cook, so we want to pass those down to our children, make sure that they continue to know who they are and where they come from.
No, I don't have the opportunity. Maybe one day.
Sure, why not? But, you know, I mean, I have, you know, he's just a human being. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're gringo or not, you know, yeah.
I would, I could say, because it's Americans, they're not all the same. They're not all the same perspective. It's not, there can be different people, different aspects of things. They're not all the same, so I could see.
When it comes down to dating, I have 3 sons. And they're gringos in a way because they were born in the United States, even though mom and dad are Puerto Rican and family is Puerto Rican. Whether I will encourage anybody to marry a gringo, by definition, somebody born in the United States, don't take me wrong, why not? Anybody can be a great partner, and anybody from any country can be the worst partner. So I don't think just being a gringo will define a person. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. In a different life, already married a Puerto Rican, but yeah, sure, no issues.
I do. Like at the end of the day, we're all humans. That doesn't make them a gringo. You be Chinese or whatever. You're just a human. If I see something in you that I like, I would probably fall in love and marry you. But no, I don't. No, I would.
I'm married, so no. I don't know. ¿Cómo se dice buscando? Don't search nothing. But it doesn't matter where you come from. If the love comes, it's natural. It's no the lines of the lands separate the humans. The lines say you are American. The lines say you are Mexico. But we are a part of something else is much bigger than that.
Hello everybody, today I'm here with
Valeria.
Valeria, could you tell us your age and where you're from?
I'm 21 and I'm from Caguas, Puerto Rico.
Oh Valeria, do you consider yourself an American?
Well, on paper, if you take a contextualist, very concrete perspective, yes, I'm American. That's my only citizenship right now.
Why so? Why would you consider yourself an American?
Well, because if we take it from a very textualist perspective, that is the citizenship I'm given because we're a non-incorporated territory and the Jones Act that kind of gave us the only choice of getting American citizenship because right now we're a non-incorporated territory of the United States.
Do you consider yourself a Puerto Rican?
100%.
Why so? Why?
Because I grew up here. I am very proud of my culture, of my country, of my roots. And I brought my best friends here so they can see and enjoy this beautiful island. So 100% Puerto Rican.
How do you reconcile with both identities?
It's kind of an interesting question, one I always get asked about. I actually studied in the United States in New York. So I kind of studied in the United States, mainland United States. So because I with this identity, it's like, yes, I'm American, but not really. First, I don't have the same rights as a usual American citizen. And second, the culture in itself, I don't feel very sometimes identified with because our culture is so strong and so unique that feeling American, the usual American, I guess, is not, I don't know, very clear. I feel 100% Puerto Rican.
Are you proud of being American?
Well, I'm proud of being me, and right now myself is American. So yes, I am proud to be American. However, of course, there's a lot of inequalities, and I think that's a huge political fight that is very important to be taken into consideration of. And yeah, like it's something that has to be fixed. But yes, I'm proud to be American because that's who I am right now.
Are you proud of being Puerto Rican?
Yes, 100%. Even though Puerto Rican citizenship doesn't exist, I am Puerto Rican because I was born here in this beautiful island. So yes, I'm 100% to be proud and Puerto Rican.
Great. That's great.
Okay.
When it comes down to AirBnBs, it It was a great idea when it first started. It gave an opportunity for more tourism to come over because it made it affordable for people to stay, and then it brought more business to the areas not in San Juan, especially down into the mountains and stuff like that. But lately, it's becoming a problem because it's making it hard for local people to rent or find affordable housing, because the owner will rather rent the house for a couple of days and make the profit than risk renting it for a longer period. So it's becoming a problem, especially for younger generations, to find affordable housing.
It's a problem. It's a big problem because we have here many people that don't have to go to live, and they can't find houses because the houses, every house or Airbnb or not very expensive.
I'll support it if they're native owned, right? But again, like if it's people encouraging people to move here, to make business off of the land and the resources, and that contribution's not going back to the people who are from here, then it's kind of pointless, and I don't want to support it.
The Airbnb are good and bad. Here in San Juan, también caro right now, so it's bad. Because only los gringos use their Airbnb. No, nosotros los boricuas no usamos the Airbnb anymore because they're really high.
I personally don't have a problem about it as long as they adhere to building codes, and that they keep our beaches, whatever is public land, that they keep it that way.
It's kind of sad, I would say, because it does take Puerto Rican's territory. So it's sad the fact that we can't go to Dorado's beaches, and it's our beaches, but we can't go. So I do think it's unfair, the fact that I'm Puerto Rican and I can't go to my own beaches. It's unfair because why can't Americans go? The fact that they're staying at a house and I can go and it's my own island. It's unfair. It could be considered as trespassing.
It do sucks because they take territory from us. At the same time, we can use it we can use the Airbnbs to explore the island. But at the end of the day, we're all tourists, and we can explore the island better.
We have the Hawaiian effect, where the foreigners bought close to the water, and the islanders went to the middle of the island. Same. I think it's happened the same. Same things happen in Puerto Rico, where Puerto Ricans cannot afford being in the water, and now they're being pushed back further.
It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you are. If you buy a house and make an B&B or something, it's fine. But now they buy a B&B near to the beach and take the opportunity for every people to go at the beach. The beach is for the peoples. No, nobody is the owner of the beach. If you don't permit the transit of people, they need a beach. This is the problem, and we got natural reserves, and I don't think it's good to destroy it. So everything is good, but need regulations.
I think, it shouldn't be that way. whomever comes here needs to pay taxes just like any other blow Joe. Any person that citizen here in Puerto Rico, there should be not such benefit.
I don't have a problem that you investment here. It's the money that you get here. You bring here, you help to grow up this island.
They buy a house, maybe don't live in this house, and don't create jobs, and we pay the taxes for the lights, for the water, for everything, and they don't pay that tax. It doesn't matter if you want to come, you need to come with the same law. No special law for nobody.
I think it's bullshit. Like I said, those can benefit the island. It can benefit like reconstruction of the island and everything. And then they're just coming over here, taking over land, taking over things that have been abandoned because of need. Right? People left because they needed to survive, and they're taking over and building these new things, and then they don't even get to contribute to the tax. I think that's not fair.
At one point, Puerto Rico saw the need to implement a lot of incentives for business to come and invest in Puerto Rico. A lot of tax breaks that will allow them to not pay, just like, what a local business will have to pay. And all they were required were to generate a low amount of jobs to kind of, incentivize growth. Unfortunately, yes, you can hire 10 people, but when you bring 30, or when you buy a $30,000 home and then you put money into it and resell it for much, much more, and then you take all the tax breaks that you got to begin with, it's not fair, because then we're not competing at the same level. So it can bring benefits, or maybe it did at its beginning, but not anymore.
I don't like it. No, I don't like that. J. Paul is like someone that I know from YouTube that moved here recently, and he's like giving a lot of problems here, like buying una mansión, like a big house, and he doesn't pay taxes, so I don't like him at all.
You can see now that property around this coast is in the millions, when it was not like that. And as you're hardly gonna find a Puerto Rican born and grown or growth in Puerto Rico that will afford that, right? So eventually we're gonna be pushed to the middle of the island. I haven't seen if it's been good or bad for the economy of the island. I don't know. So maybe if the numbers are there that those are bringing tax dollars to do something, perfect. But I don't know. I haven't seen any data showing either or.
That's unfair, basically. We have to pay taxes and they don't. That's unfair.
I do see it as they're taking the easy way out. It's another thing that it's not fair, because how people that are not from the island can be more, they have their more rights than us. It's unfair. It's really unfair, because then we can't do our same thing in our own home. I don't see the equalness in it.
What are the best slang words? The ones that I know, jangueo, which is basically like hanging out. I know, mañana vamos al jangueo con mi amiga. Tomorrow we're gonna go to the hangout with my friend. I don't know, I'm not really up to speed.
My favorites are ea. Ea, it's just like, it could be used for anything. It could be used in any expression. It could be shocked like ea, or sad like ea.
One that I use a lot is Diablo. Well, the word Diablo obviously means, the devil, but we use it for pretty much anything. Like you use the word damn or wow, we use Diablo. And let's say when I get surprised about something, like Diablo, or even scared sometimes, but overall, I think that's my favorite one.
Bendito. In all reality, it has no definition. You can say, ay bendito, pero bendito, ay pero bendito. O sea, you can mean anything and everything with just that one single word. And then there's some words that are not meant to be said in public because, they're not politically correct. So I won't pronounce those.
Slang words. I use like bad words, like a lot. Como coño. When you're mad, you can use coño, but it's like the meaning is like fuck, maybe, yeah. Ay coño, qué dolor de cabeza tengo hoy. Something like that. You can use that word. Huepa también, no es una palabra mala, but you can use that a lot. But I use bad words only, like Puerto Rican slang only.
So, coño, we use it when we try to tell in my case, like, please do that, come on, do that, coño, do that. It's like, hey. And the other one, the puñeta, we use it when it's like an emotional outburst, pretty much. Like, we want puñeta, or yes, like, that's how we use it. Neither is an insult, it's like emotional expression.
Puñeta represents everything. If you are happy, you scream puñeta. If you have a hammer and you punch it, you call puñeta. It's the word can Puerto Rican say for everything.
Would you say Puerto Ricans are second-class citizens?
Yes, I think that Puerto Ricans are second-class U.S. citizens because we are treated that way. In the States, they don't recognize the things that are due to us. I mean, in many places, they don't recognize our license to start with. That's a small example. They don't recognize that. They don't recognize that we don't need a passport. They don't recognize that there are thousands of men that have died in the U.S. wars from Puerto Rico, born in Puerto Rico, raised in Puerto Rico. So I think that second class or third class.
I don't exactly feel like a regular citizen of the United States, pretty much. That's just my opinion, because I mean, it feels like there's some differences.
Why so?
Well, I mean, even though we have citizenship and stuff like that, it's not the same. We have like different taxes. We have different representation in the government, stuff like that. I mean, first of all, one of the things that we do normally is like no representation overall towards decisions that affect us. And that's probably one of the bigger things, especially when like the whole states were founded on like representation and taxation. Like we got a lot of taxation, but no representation when it comes to laws and stuff like that. So I mean, I'd say stuff like that, I'd say is really different for most US citizens, pretty much.
Yes, I believe Puerto Ricans are second-class citizens in a whole lot of different manners. As a matter of fact, our citizenship, it's because of a law. It's not because of the Constitution. So in that way, from the beginning, it is a second-class citizenship. Apart from that, people living in Puerto Rico don't have the same benefits as the citizens in the States. For example, Social Security, we don't receive the whole amount that people receive in the States. It can be taken away. So in that matter, it's a second-class citizenship.
I believe that Puerto Ricans are, in a sense, second-class citizens. And also not because they do receive a lot of privileges that other Latin countries do not have at all. But compared to regular Americans that are citizens, yeah, we get almost no vote, if I'm if I'm not mistaken, in Senate. The other day, actually, there was a huge scandal because they had put up a job offer for manager of the Commonwealth, which is what the governor does. And so that created a huge scandal.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a misconception that we have in the Puerto Rican educational system. But my experience hasn't been that. When I think I've been probably 20 states. Hasn't been the case. No issues at all. So I don't think that's an issue.
In certain ways, unfortunately, yes, I do. I do think we are more pronounced when Trump was in power, most definitely. Personally, I felt that way. But we don't care. You know, we know who we are, and we are prideful. Then again, going back to future generations, I think, you know, that's going to be resolved and change. We should be treated equally, but the truth is that we're not. I moved from Puerto Rico to Florida. I've been fortunate in a sense because I haven't really felt, you know, that as much as other people, but it exists, you know, and people express that way.
Of course, we're part of the United States, but even then, we're not getting the full benefit of being part of the United States. So it's like we're in this unhappy medium of being taken advantage of. Being able to vote for president, right? They get to make decisions on our island, but we don't get to make decisions on who we get to pick for leaders. So
I do think we're discriminated because we're treated differently because our physical structures, we can be considered as Mexicans. Every Latino is considered as Mexicans, but we're not. We're Puerto Ricans. We have our own culture. We're not the same.
When we compare benefits, unfortunately, I don't believe, even personally, I did not get the same benefits or the same treatments that I saw people in the States receive. Even health insurance is not the same coverage. There's some benefits that I could get if I lived in the States, but because I live in Puerto Rico, even though I qualify, I'm not allowed to get them.
We are a colony, and this status don't bring us many opportunities to grow up, to have much better health, much better security, much better services as a U.S. citizen.
Yes. Yes, because my work is artisan, and I work in every city of Puerto Rico, and I see the young people. The young people make their own jobs, make their own opportunities for your family, for him, and they need help, but they fight every day for a better future, and I see it. A lot of young people making this, so I have a long hope for this. Yes.
I don't know. I don't do hope. I don't have hope in Puerto Rico. El gobierno is really bad here. The economy is wrong here. It's hard living here. Like, the people here are changing everything.
I actually do. I have a lot of hopes because we are a really hard-working culture. So you see how Puerto Rico is in the island, but when you look at Puerto Ricans outside the island, in the federal environment, U.S., Connecticut, which we are a lot of them, we thrive really, really, really high. We go further because I don't know why, but it's the same people, same culture, same upbringing, pretty much. somehow the system makes us go further than here. I just don't know why yet.
That's a hard one. Do I have hope? I want to have hope, right? I feel like maybe right now I don't have as much hope. Yeah, I don't feel like it's going in the direction that it should be. Not with the current state that we're at. Oh, I don't think that people benefit from what you can benefit from the island, right? So like the Jones Act, everything that's happening outside, the people can benefit from the outside coming in, but not the people here. I don't think that it's beneficial to the people who belong here, who are native to here. They force them, like my parents were forced to leave for job, for opportunities. So.
I'm hopeful because I think that the new generation that is, growing up, it's better. They're giving importance to different issues. Politics are just that, politics. Taking care of the earth, the environment, the corruption in this country, este país, they all care about that, and I think they're determined to go back to our roots. It's all connected with the environment, and I'm hopeful that we can do better here in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico has a good future. We might not all see it at the same time, or we might not all face it or imagine it in the same way, but it has a lot of potential. We have the touristic opportunity, education opportunity. I mean, we have great schools here, and we have a lot of brain power, and knowledge opens doors into the future, so we'll see.
I do, but it does count on our society because it depends on us, on the decisions we make as Puerto Ricans.
At the end of the day, we are all like one people. We're all united. So if we see that something's bad, we can use a proper goal, something that drives us together to achieve Puerto Rico's greatness.
What do you think about Trump running for office again?
I don't think he should be running the country. He treated the Puerto Ricans with disrespect on Hurricane Maria when he came to Puerto Rico. He disregarded the lives that were lost here in Puerto Rico. I think he has defrauded the United States. His views are very radical. We should be progressive. He has gone backwards in a lot of his policies.
Trump is a disgrace for the people of the United States, that he doesn't represent any of the goodness of the United States people as a country. And I don't think that he should run, and I don't think that he should be president, and I think it's a big risk. I think that he should be put away.
Oh my God, don't get me started. He's an asshole. And he shouldn't be running for the presidency again. And if he does, he shouldn't win. Hopefully not.
Maybe he's a good president.
He comes and throw towel, and the people are mad with him, but it's not the throw of the towel. It's because every president of the United States never see us like part of United States. They think we are Indians or we are poor people. Puerto Rico is not very important for the president or for the American politics because we don't vote. We don't have representation there. We had somebody go there but don't have a voice there.
Trump? No. No. No, I don't like him at all because of all of the military that is going on right now over there. It's causing a lot of problems.
Policy-wise, I cannot tell you that, oh, he put this into law that I don't like, right? I cannot tell you that. But I think his way of doing politics brought the United States closer to what Latin America used to be or is still there with populism. And it's a bad road. And on top of that, if you see politics in the United States now, it's a resemble of politics in Puerto Rico in the 1980s. What happens here in the 1980s with two really powerful candidates and passionate candidates was that they turned the island into, if you're not with me, I hate you, or they just, even families, they didn't talk to each other because opposite extremes, right? And since then, nothing happened because whoever wins will destroy whatever the previous administration did. And I think that's happening in the United States right now.
Whether Trump should run for presidency or not has to go beyond whether he's capable of doing it as a professional, not as a person, because there are differences there. I believe that we have to stop electing just because they're politicians. We need to start voting for people that don't just learn law or don't just go into the Senate and propose new ways of governing stuff, whether it's Trump, whether it's anybody else. We need actually people that know how to run a country, not just make laws that prohibit or allow or disallow rights.
It's not, I don't agree on anything with him. Anything. His leadership is not right. How he treats people, how he treats black people, how he treats Indians, Koreans, Asians, Mexicans, and he treats them like they're lower class.
I'm not a really political person, so honestly I don't have any thoughts other than his leadership is pretty wrong. I don't agree with anything, but other than that, I'm not a political person.
What do you think about Biden running for office again?
President Biden, although I think he's a good guy, he's old. I don't think his mental capabilities are up to the level that is needed for the presidency. But I would prefer him to Trump. I would prefer him to any Republican.
I like Biden. And I think that he has been a good president, and I think that he has the ability to negotiate with different people from different sides of the aisle, from different streams of thought. So I like it. I think that he should run again, and he has Kamala by his side. So if he gets sick or whatever, Kamala can take place.
He had many challenges to deal with coming into the presidency. I think he's a good guy, a human, decent guy, like Trump wasn't. But there are things that can be better. You know, I think he has the best intentions to do good for the people, but it's challenging times. But I think definitely, if you compare him with Trump, to me, he's just like day and night. Should he run for president again? I'm not sure. But I sure hope that if he does, I hope that he wins again. And we don't need Trump in power, for sure, if that's the option.
President Biden is very old to govern the United States.
Biden is the same thing. Biden looks too old for president.
Biden, yeah, I support him. But I don't really know anything, no mucho. I don't really care.
United States, we are 350 million people, and we have those two guys. It's incredible. Like, we cannot find any other candidate there. Policy-wise, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that is good or bad for the country. It's like non-existent for me.
On President Biden, nothing against him. Lately, he does seem to portray being tired. And I think this country is looking towards a younger generation of leaders. So I think we should allow them to start bringing new ideas into what's going on in this country.
I know he can make some choices that can be bad for society, but I do know he can do some good choices for society. So it's more of a good than bad, in my opinion.
You know, honestly, I haven't heard anything that he does in the news or anything like that. Other than that, I would say he's a pretty decent president. Definitely, in my opinion, better than Trump.
The Jones Act is drowning Puerto Rico. This maritime law, passed in 1920, has increased the cost of living, worsened poverty, and prolonged the recovery of Puerto Ricans from the devastating impacts of Hurricane Maria and Fiona. These natural disasters indiscriminately destroyed homes, businesses, and infrastructure, driving many Puerto Ricans to flee their homeland for the promise of opportunity in the States. The majority of Puerto Ricans, 6 million, now live in the United States compared to the 3 million remaining on the island. Of those 3 million people, 43% live below the poverty line, lacking the resources to stay afloat. So, what is the Jones Act? And how exactly does it impact people living in Puerto Rico? The Jones Act, otherwise known as Section 27 of the Merchant Marine Act of 1920, requires all U.S. cargo transported by ship between U.S. ports to be carried on U.S.-flagged vessels, built, owned, and operated by U.S. citizens. The Act eliminates free market competition for the American maritime shipping industry by banning foreign shipping companies from providing shipping services between U.S. ports. It also prevents the use of foreign-built ships and disincentivizes the use of foreign mariners. The United States Congress designed this protectionist law after World War I to ensure the U.S. maritime industry maintains a fleet of vessels that can be called upon during times of war and crisis to transport troops, equipment, and supplies. In practice, cargo ships from foreign nations can still deliver and accept cargo at U.S. ports like Puerto Rico, but the Act strictly prohibits foreign ships and crews from transporting U.S. goods between U.S. ports. Here's an example. A merchant ship from Brazil sails to Puerto Rico and delivers half of its cargo to the island. The Brazilian ship continues to Jacksonville, Florida, and delivers the other half of its cargo. The ship receives cargo to transport back to Brazil. But despite heading in the direction of Puerto Rico on their return voyage, the ship is not allowed to deliver any of the new cargo to Puerto Rico or to any other U.S. port. It can only be taken abroad to an international market. This restriction artificially limits competitive pricing by reducing the number of shipping companies available to transport cargo between U.S. ports. To send cargo between U.S. ports, American shipping companies are required to sail on American-made vessels, which are 3 to 5 times more expensive than ships built in China, Japan, and Korea, where 92% of the world's new ships were built in 2019. Furthermore, these American-made and American-flagged vessels must be staffed with American crews, who are paid up to 5 times more on average than those working on foreign-flagged ships. Each of these factors contributes to the higher shipping costs for domestic transportation of goods between U.S. ports, the cost of which directly increases the retail price of goods and the cost of living in Puerto Rico. So, how does this translate into dollars? In 2012, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York estimated that it costs $3,063 to ship a 20-foot container of household and commercial goods from the east coast of the United States to Puerto Rico, when the same shipment only cost $1,504 to send to the nearby Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico's neighbor. That's a $1,559 premium. This is because the Jones Act allows foreign ships to pick up cargo in the US and bring it to a foreign port. But that same ship could not legally carry that identical shipment to a US port, such as Puerto Rico. While this policy applies to all 50 states, it disproportionately impacts places like Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico due to their geographic isolation from the US mainland and their dependence on maritime shipping. According to a cost of living study conducted by the Puerto Rico Institute of Statistics, grocery items on the island were 19.7% more expensive on average than similar grocery items in the US. When considering that Puerto Rico imports around 85% of its goods and 43% of its people live below the poverty line, it becomes clear that the US maritime industry is siphoning hundreds of millions of dollars a year from an impoverished island. So why doesn't Puerto Rico try to change the Jones Act? Because it can't. The Puerto Rican government and its people cannot change federal legislation. American citizens living on the island cannot vote in presidential elections or elect their own representatives to the US Senate. While Puerto Rico has been subject to the authority of the US government since 1898, and Puerto Ricans have been US citizens since 1917, Congress has never granted Puerto Rico statehood. Despite the United States' core principle of democratic participation and the belief in no taxation without representation, Puerto Rico is subject to both U.S. federal taxation and the de facto tax of the Jones Act without being given the right to vote on federal legislation. Although Puerto Rico is represented in the U.S. House of Representatives by a resident commissioner, they can only introduce legislation, serve on committees, and participate in debate. They cannot vote on the final passage of bills, which is essential to the democratic process. Therefore, laws are imposed on Puerto Rico by the U.S. federal government without the participation of the Puerto Rican government or its people. Efforts to repeal or amend the Jones Act have been met with resistance from the U.S. maritime industry and its supporters in Congress. American shipping companies stand to lose tens of millions of dollars a year if the Jones Act were to be changed or eliminated, which explains the industry's strong interest in ensuring the status quo. If you live in the US, you have the power to alleviate poverty in Puerto Rico by calling on your representatives to reform the Jones Act. Look in the description of this video to find a link to contact your congressional representatives. Please share this video with your friends and family so they can do the same. By creating a more fair and flexible framework that balances national security and economic growth, Puerto Ricans have a real chance at upward economic mobility. By working together, a brighter future awaits on the near horizon.
Now, Miguel, do you believe in Puerto Rican independence, statehood, or to remain the way we are right now?
Well, personally, I am for independence.
Why
I believe
so?
that it should, Puerto Rico should have been a free country since 1898. And you know what happened in 1988? 1998, there was a war between Spain and the United States. And the United States beat Spain. They won the war. So they occupied the island and took it as a war reparation. In Spanish, botín de guerra. And at that time, most Puerto Ricans were in favor of independence. They were fighting against Spain with Cubans. There were many Puerto Ricans in Cuba, following the doctrine of Jose Marti. They are fighting for the independence of Cuba. At the end of the war, Cuba obtained their independence, but the independence to Puerto Rico was denied by the President of the United States at that time, McKinley. McKinley was the president at that time.
What do you believe Puerto Rico would gain the most out of independence?
Excuse me?
Like, what would be the most benefits Puerto Rico would gain from independence?
Let me compare this with something. In your home, who you want to be the boss? Somebody else or you?
Me, for sure. Not someone else calling the shots.
We don't. In Puerto Rico, the Congress and the president have the ultimate word. So they are the boss, the owners of this island. Puerto Ricans, although we have had wars in order to get the independence, like in 1950, there was a war here. You see, our hero was Albizu Campos. He wanted to get the independence by using the force, guns, but he was beaten. So he spent many years in jail in Atlanta because he wanted to get the independence. So Puerto Ricans, in most occasions, they have favored independence. But the United States, you know what was the answer of the president?
What was the answer?
McKinley in 1898 in the Treaty of Paris. No Puerto Ricans were there. No Puerto Ricans were represented. Only the United States and Spain. Yeah, that is it's called the Treaty of Paris, France. He said, we have planned, I'm sorry for you guys. You are very nice people. You have beautiful women, but we have a special interest for Puerto Rico because you are going to be the key of the Panama Canal. At that time, France, who was the country that were developing, constructing the Panama Canal, he had to leave and they sold it to the United States. So the United States, the plans of President at that time McKinley and the Congress was to finish the construction of the Panama Canal, and they offered Puerto Rico because we were going to be the key of the Panama Canal. So that was the answer by, at that time, McKinley. But you know what happened later? In 1917, where most Puerto Ricans were in favor of independence. You know what the president at that time, Woodrow Wilson, said?
What did he say?
He said, no, guys, you are very nice people, you have beautiful women, you have a beautiful island, but we need you because we are now engaged in the First World War. So we want you to be soldiers, to defend our country. We need men to go to New York, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, other cities, because we need young men to replace our young men that are being sent to Europe to fight the Germans. So at that time they said the same thing. You are the key of the Panama Canal. You are very important for us, but we are going to give you a present, a gift. You know what was the gift?
What was the gift?
He said, well, from now on, from 1917, you will be citizens of the United States. We are going to grant you the citizenship. At that time, in 1917, the Congress, the government of the United States passed a law that they didn't want more Asians in California. You see, Chinese, So we need people from Puerto Rico to move to the United States and do the work that our men, our young men, would have done if they didn't go to Europe to to fight the Germans. So they have always have a reason not to give the independence to Puerto Rico. But now we are in trouble because we have a big debt, public debt, a debt that we are not able to pay. And you know, all those millions of dollars that come here from Washington, you know where they end up? In Wall Street. So that's why I am in favor of independence.